You'll be like all the others. Your end is near.
As an indie, I really was able to sort of lead with the work.
Okay.
So I had this idea. I didn't know if it was going to work, but I was really passionate about it. And when I talked to people about it, I think that they could tell that I really cared. Um, and there was never really a sort of focus on my gender. People were impressed with the game. People were and I would explain because the Centris had this sort of aspect of like it was very enigmatic.
Yeah.
So you look at it and be like, what is happening here? And then people would come up and sort of look at it and try to figure out what's going on just by watching. And if I was standing there, sometimes they would turn to me and talk to me. Like sometimes they would recognize me as a developer and sometimes they wouldn't.
Okay.
They'll be like, "Oh, wow, this is really interesting," or like, "This is like so too complicated for me," and so but they would always be impressed somehow.
Okay.
And sometimes there would be "Oh, like you made this? Like this is your project?" I'd be like, "Yeah," and like no one ever like took a gendered dynamic further than that, right?
Okay.
And it wasn't like I never in those moments I didn't really feel like my gender was a thing. I couldn't, but maybe that was because I wasn't sure if they were extra impressed because I was a woman making this game.
Yeah.
I never really got that sense for the vast for the majority of these encounters. I never really got a sense of like being pandered to,
Okay.
or or anything like that. Um, like no one, especially my peers, never made any like flippant comments. They just like this is a really interesting project, um, and it's really cool that you made it, or are making it. I've met so many amazing, talented women that make games and
Yeah.
working. Um, it blows me away. There are women that basically run the IGF. There are women that run the IGF. There are women that run Indiecade, predominantly, and it's and there are all these women that make games by themselves. They run small studios. There's Tanya Short, who runs a studio in Canada. Um, like there's all these amazing women in games media who I met. Um, Talented designers, talented programmers, talented artists. Um, it 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 feels good. It feels good to have them as colleagues, and it feels good to like be among those ranks.